buzz to let everybody know what's going on with athletics. And obviously, everybody's hyped up about your football team. And we'd like to congratulate you on your regular season.
Thank you.
And I guess before we get talking about the end of the season, I think we should go back to with our chats about how you guys have really started to come together. And I think it all started at U32. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you're right. It did start at U32. That was it was a great game for us. We ended up winning it, but we overcame a lot of adversity to do that. In the first half, we lost Trevor Worrell and we lost Hunter Judd,
Sure.
two of our key running backs and two key players on defense. We were down at the half. I believe it was 14-6. We came back in the second half. We really didn't panic. We just kept running the ball. We stopped them a couple times on defense, and in the end, we came out on top by a touchdown. So it's a big win for us.
Yeah, and we actually had quite a few. You had quite a few kids step up in that game, And could you speak a little bit about the psyche of the kids in the locker room at halftime? Because I know that was quite impressive to you and the coaching staff.
Yeah, we did have a number of kids step up. It's probably impossible to name them all,
Sure.
but Dylan Stilson stands out as someone that changed his jersey number at halftime, ready to go play a different position in the second half and played it well. I think what I saw at halftime in that game was a team extremely determined to win. There was no panic at all. We had great senior leadership from Hunter Patnode and Caleb Harrington, and we just had a group of kids that weren't down at all.
Yeah, and that was a great win. Now, speaking of great wins, what about Friday night? That was a terrific football game. Nothing ever better than beating them, And it was a hard-fought battle. But tell me your overview of what you thought.
I thought it was a great game. Same thing. I thought the team prepared well mentally as well as with a game plan. Very, very determined team to win that game. I thought we overcame more adversity. We had players that couldn't play partway through the game. We had guys in new positions that they hadn't played. Dylan Stilson was another one of those guys again. We were moving people around on the offensive line. Josh Creed played tight end for the first time in his life, never practiced there. And the kids just continued to step up. They made the big stops when they had to. Woodstock's a heck of a team, but I was really proud of the way that came together.
How did you feel? How did you feel about the rivalry? You've been involved in it for quite a while. What did you think about the history and the rivalry? Was it everything? First time you beat them, was it everything that you felt?
So for me, we talk about that in going to school here. You talk about the rivalry, and for me, that was never the rivalry.
Right.
We tell the kids, we used to beat them.
Me too.
We just beat them.
Me too. It was Hartford.
Yeah, exactly. It was Hartford. It's not a rivalry if you beat them
Right.
every year, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
so it is now though. It's obviously they're a heck of a program. We beat them a couple of years ago. We beat them over on their field the last time we played there in a tough game, and so that was very exciting. This game was actually quite similar to that in terms of score, in terms of how it came together. I look at that game as if one team was 0-7 and the other was 7-0 going into it, it would still be a great battle. It would still be a lot of fun, and to have both teams undefeated and playing for the #1 spot just adds a tremendous amount to it.
Yeah, and I'm not big on stats, as you know, but did you hear that since 1996, either Windsor or Woodstock have been in the finals every year?
I didn't know that. I'm not really surprised, I guess, when I think about it.
But
Yeah.
that goes to show you what the team's about. Here's another thing. You guys are selling T-shirts with a W on them. It says Windsor Football. On the back it says, Together We Swarm.
Mhm.
There's that. The first time I saw that, it's a perfect slogan for your football team because they're like a bunch of little bubbles. They all go to it. I mean, they really love to go to the ball. They're very exciting to watch on defense. And could you talk a little bit about that for me?
Yeah, so the shirt idea, a couple of the players, I think it might have been Seth that had come up with the actual slogan, but the players really bought into it, and they talk about it regularly. We talk about Together We Swarm, and it's a mentality that they've had for a couple of years, and I think they really pulled it together this year. And it's 11 guys to the football. That's what we talk about all the time. So we may not be the biggest team, we may not always be the fastest, whatever, but we're always going to be flying to the ball. That's how we play. So it's a mentality that's really, really taken, and as you know, that's one of the keys to a good football team is getting to the ball.
Absolutely, and I think the second thing that we got going for us is that we've talked quite a bit about is the team chemistry seems to be awesome, and it's one of the only teams I've been around that they lift each other up, and it's one of those intangibles that. When did you see that coming together?
I saw that at U32. I mean, I believed that earlier in the year, but there wasn't really an opportunity to show that.
Sure.
But at U32, again, that mentality was just, okay, we're down a couple of key players, but it doesn't matter. We're going to overcome. We're going to figure it out. And it really starts with the captains, but it's that whole senior class. And really, it's the junior class. You know, there's just a lot of leaders on this team, and they have kind of a refuse to lose, and we will deal with adversity mentality.
Well, you can definitely see how individually everybody's improved. That collectively made us a hard football team to beat. You know. So speaking of that, now that we're moving on to a elimination round of every, you know, we got to win Saturday or we're done. Could you speak a little bit about how banged up we are to going into this game Saturday?
We're pretty banged up. We're pretty banged up. We've got several guys that appear to be that they'll be out on the offensive line. We've got some defensive players on the line that are down. You know, we've got Trevor down, obviously. I would say that this week we're a little rough, but we've got some younger guys that are ready to step up. I'm confident in their ability. They've actually played in other games, so you know we've seen them battle tested. And then it looks like by next week we should have most everybody back. So
That's awesome.
we got to get through this week, but
absolutely.
you know,
You don't want to look ahead. But and I guess the last question I have for you: did you, being in that situation, coaching, it's hard. But did you notice how much support you had around the field at Woodstock on Friday night? And are you looking forward to it continuing through the playoffs?
Very much looking forward to it. It's a huge benefit to us. I think we had more fans there than Woodstock did.
I think so too.
I didn't really notice it during the game, other than it was the first high school game I've ever been involved in where we had to tell the crowd to be quiet.
Sure.
We couldn't hear what was going on during the game. That's a true story. We couldn't hear it, and we had to quiet them down. You don't see that in high school sports very often.
No.
And I definitely saw it after the game. I looked around, and it was just insane. We had people in both end zones. We had them all along the sideline. It was incredible support, and we deeply appreciate it. Hope it continues.
All right. Well, best of luck, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.